And hello, two people that showed up. I'm waiting for a couple more people. I want to talk about something real quick. Something I've been dealing with for the last couple of days. And it's crazy because I'm sure it's happening to other people. Excuse me, it's moving a little bit. So the question is, what is happening to other people? Well, as you know, I run a nonprofit, Mr. Badly TV. It's a 503c, C3 organization. So our goal is to raise money for public safety, and you can go to MrBadly.com and see more about it. But the interesting part is, I was contacted on Instagram. As you guys know, I was doing the whole thing about showing how people are using fake money to attract other viewers for their, for their Instagram page, saying they were giving away cash, tons of cash. And I started calling them out that most of the money they were using was, what's the word I'm looking for, was called prop money, and it has a PM on it. Well, I got reached out to one of the guys that I had called out on. Well, at least it appeared to be one of the guys that called out. Let's try it that way. And what he said to me was pretty interesting. He says, "Hey, just to prove to you that we're legit, we want to send you a donation we want to send you a donation." And of course, who wouldn't want a donation, right? Who wouldn't? And then he said, he used an account that looked like an account that would be one of the guys that was doing the donations. So here's where it gets interesting. So, and I'm going to pull it up on my phone so I can read some of the stuff to you, because I took pictures of screenshots of so excuse my glasses. So basically, he wanted to know how much money we were trying to raise. And I said, well, we're trying to raise about $300,000 so that we can do everything we need to do. But I'm only asking for $50,000. I'm not trying to be greedy. We can raise it over time. I'm not trying to get it all at one time, but if we got it, then that'll be perfect. We can get what we need. We can get the vehicles. We can get stuff like that. So the guy says, well, hey, I don't want to chat on Instagram. Can we chat on a different platform? Which was your first clue that there may be something wrong. But, me being who I am and what I do, I said, okay, let's do it. So at first I'm not going to lie, I was reluctant. I don't really like to log into new accounts I've never heard of before. Something called Zynga or something like that, or not Zynga, but it's a weird account. And so I looked it up, and the account was legit. It's for, it's kind of like, what's the one we use now where everybody chit-chats back and forth with each other? So anyway, it turns out that, so I was talking to the guy, and he's like, look, what do you do? And I said, I told you what we do. We're a nonprofit, blah, 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 blah. He says, well, what do you need the money for? So, okay, well, if you're really interested, I'll show you we need it for this, this, and this. I gave him a list of things we needed to buy with. And then he says, okay, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Just to prove to you that we're legit, I'm going to give you $300,000. Now, there's no such thing as free money. Everything has a price to it. No such thing as free money, or free money. But here's where it gets interesting. So then he says, and I was watching, he goes, well, before we go any further, and I have my management reach out to you to set up the donation, can you go to my page and follow me? And so the page he had me follow wasn't the page he reached out to me for. Same picture, same name, but the picture he called me on only had, the original page only had something like 50 followers. The page he asked me to like had 10 million followers. So I'm like, but why would you reach out to me from a page that's not associated with the page, but then ask me to follow that page? It almost sounded like he was trying to be legit, but running it on a different thing so that he can, communicate with you. It all seems, it seemed kind of like, is this too good to be true? Is this guy really going to give me, donate $300,000 to our nonprofit? Because now, keep in mind, on his Instagram page, or the page similar to it, he gives away cash. You see him give away wads of money, which, again, I'll tell you, in my opinion, it's most of the time it's pretty fake. But, who knows? Maybe they're using it as a front and then they really do, make donations. You don't want to, you don't want to be that guy to get caught up in a scam but you also don't want to be that guy that goes, that's so, you don't want to be so desperate that you get caught up in a scam, but you also want to be that guy that is so skeptical that you actually miss out on an opportunity. So you kind of weigh, but at the same time, like, okay, I'm a journalist. I'm going to see where this thing goes. So as time went on, this went on for about a few days. And I'm going to read some of them. So he would ask me questions like, and I'm trying to pull them up in front of me here. It was called Zynga, was a private messenger. So you can discuss it. So I'm with the Zynga. And we were chit-chatting back and forth, and he seemed pretty legit. Now, again, I've never met the guy. I don't have a phone number. I don't even know who he is or where he is. But when you use these kind of accounts, sometimes it does throw up some red flags. And I'm not going to lie, the red flags were up, but you want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. But in some cases, some people don't give them the benefit of the doubt, and they get scammed. And then you hear about it like, I would never think I would be scammed, but I got scammed. That's what you hear. So it happens. People are really good at scamming people. And but one of the things I've learned is if they ask for anything out of the ordinary. So what I do is if you go to MrBailey.com, you'll go there and you'll see a link that says donate. That is a verified donation tool. You can put credit card information, you can put bank account information, you can do whatever you want, and it's been verified and checked, and it's good to go. So there's no reason why no one should be able to use that account, and you don't have to pay to use it. So here's where it gets interesting. So he would call me, he would text me in the morning through this messenger service. I'd hear it go off. And he said, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm fine. How are you? And so he would ask like personal stuff like, how you doing? What's going on? What are you doing today? Just to get personal with you. And that's what they do. They want to do the long game. They want to reach out to you and make you feel comfortable about what you're doing, which is what is going on with this guy. So I'm watching and I'm listening and Diane, Faith, my partner, we were sitting there going, yeah, this guy's, there's no such thing as a free ride. So the guy's name, if you go to Instagram, is called Mr.Good.Luck. Mr.Good.Luck. And let me see if I can show you the big screen here. So that's what his page looks like. That's the page from the guy who was reaching out to me. There is another page called Mr.Goodluck. Now, so what I did was I tried something. I asked a question. I said, okay, do me a favor. He asked me to follow the page with the 10 million to give it legitimacy. That will give it to legitimacy. You go to the page and you subscribe to that page, and he feels like, oh, well, it must be the right guy. Why would he ask me to subscribe to a page that, But it was kind of weird. Why would you have two pages? So it's like, it's the yin and the yang. What's going on here? So what I said was, now this is where, you have to start using your noggin a little bit. And I said, do me a favor. I said, would you respond to me from that page? And I'm trying to find how it went down before we get to that point. So I'm looking on it, so bear with me. So I asked him to, I said, do me a favor. Could you send a message to this account, which was the account that he said he had me to subscribe to. I said, would you send a message? Just simply say hello. So that way you can connect the dots. If it's his page, then he would have access to his page. I mean, people have more than one page. I get that. But I'm also not Larry Lunchmeat. I'm not a dummy. His response to that was, all I'm asking for a simple hello. He said, you got me here. You got me here. Why do I need to go there? And I said, I see. I said, yes. And he wrote, he goes, yes, Stanley, Zynga private messenger is meant for messages so we can discuss with me directly here. And I said, okay. He says, yeah, that's what we're doing now. No, he asked me what I'm doing now. I said, I'm working. So he asked me, this is where it starts to get a little bit muddy. He says, well, drop your account details and I'll start crediting fans in my giveaway. So the giveaway would be always cash. I'm going to give away money. I'm going to give away cash. And you'll get your money. Now, of course, I'm sitting there thinking, is he really going to drop $300,000 into a bank account for our nonprofit? Probably not. But let's go along for this ride and see where it goes. Then he asked for the bank details. Now, if you've never done anything with someone, if you don't know someone personally, I'm going to say it again. If you do not know someone personally, when I say personally, I mean you can go to their house, you can call their number, you can talk to them personally on the phone, you broke bread with them, or it's a verified banking service. You don't give them, unless you've done all those things with those people or you know those people, you do not give them your routing number and your account number, because now you're going to be a victim of fraud, because now they have access to your account. They can withdraw money as they please. Just like they can put money in it, they can also withdraw from that account. And that is where the problem is. So when he started about the bank account details, I just went along with it for a minute, and I'm trying to pull up another one. Hold on. They're not in order, unfortunately. Hold on. Looking for it. Bear with me. He also wrote, making people smile is my priority. So clearly that's it. So I responded back, bank account details, ? He says, I only use the link I sent you for donations. Our banking details are strictly confidential. And that's how it should be with their banking details. Never give out any information. Don't buy. If anybody asks you to buy, send them, gift cards from any place. It's a scam. It is absolutely 100% a scam. Unless you know that person and you're really good friends, don't send people anything on a gift card. Once they get the money, it's gone. You're never getting it back. And you gave it away freely, so you can't get the money back from the banks. Because once you agree to do that, you've pretty much gave away your rights. Okay, you understand that? Keep that in mind. If you've never done this before and someone says to you, give me your banking details, it's a scam. Do not do it. So as we went on, he kept going on, and I told him, I said, hey, look, I don't give out my banking details for anyone. I don't care who it is. That's strictly confidential. So he goes, well, do you not understand what I'm trying to do? Yes, I do understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to rip me off. So once he realized that I wasn't playing his game, he dropped all communication. Now, this Zing app, there's no way to trace who this person is. It could be somebody sitting in a bunker in Easter Blip somewhere trying to steal your money. And what they're doing now is with all these I'm not going to say fake, with all these accounts on Instagram that are, and Twitter, Mr. Wonderful, Mr. Thank You, the girl who gives out the money. As I wrote, and if you look at some of my tweets before, the money is usually all fake money. As a matter of fact, no, it is all fake money. And if they do front real money, I'll say it again, if they do front real money, probably a wad of hundreds they got, just to show, look, I do have hundreds. And then you'll see pallets of money. No one walks around with pallets of money. It just doesn't work that way. You can buy fake money online that looks real. The only difference is it'll say stuff like copy, or I saw one in German. If you look through my Twitter, you'll see it on my Instagram. Mr. Roberts TV, Stanley Roberts TV on Instagram. And I just want you to understand, this is a public safety announcement for you guys. They're out here scamming people. I'm kind of aware of what's going on. I wanted to see how long this goes. And I'm going to go on Twitter in a few minutes and post some of these conversations we had. But this was an outright scam. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This guy was trying to scam me, but I'm not Larry Lunchmeat. I'm not going to fall for it right away. I'm closing a bunch of windows so I can look at what's going on here. But keep in mind, if someone has a platform and they tell you to go to a different platform, it's probably a scam. It's probably a scam. And I know that if you're here, I'm going to see if I can see if any comments are coming up. Honestly, I've done this before, and I have no idea how to read comments while I'm doing this. But I'll look at them afterwards if we can, and then I'm live. I don't know how this works. I guess this is my what do you call it? Let me see. Oh, here they are. Green spot card. Yes, green spot cards, Apple gift cards. Always a scam. So, and this is coming from Evil Pat. And by the way, Evil Pat, it's good to see you out there at the gun range a few weeks ago. I just want you to understand that this guy, we were in communication, and I'm not going to lie. For a minute, I was filled with euphoria. I'm thinking, finally, I get some money to do what I want to do. And my job, what I want to do is get out there and tell stories. But people want me to tell stories for free. I can't rely on income from social media. YouTube, every time I post something of value, they demonetize it. So all I can do is do what I do best. Is I'll post my videos, and if I get enough donations, you go to MrBadley.com, you can see where you can donate. I literally need to raise about $250,000 to $300,000. So far, we only raised about $1,100. I know I have a huge fan base, but I understand that times are rough and people don't have money to donate. I get that. I'm not making anybody feel bad. But what I want you to understand is that people are out there ripping people off every day. And they're smooth talkers. And, and I live in San Mateo County, which has a problem with loneliness. So when people are lonely, they tend to become more vulnerable. I'm not lonely, don't get me wrong. I'm saying that but there is it's a health emergency, and you look it up. They passed about saying that this is an emergency because there's so many lonely people. When you have lonely people, what you end up having is people who become vulnerable. They become vulnerable for scams because they want someone to show them attention. They feel like, oh, this is the right person. I'm so. What do you call the word I'm looking for? I am so skeptical about people, and I can't even say it right, that I think PG&E called me today, legit called me today, and I thought it was a scam. I don't know. I just said, look, I don't understand you. I don't know what we're talking about. I'm not going to have this conversation. Have a good day. Click. And the caller ID said PG&E. But everyone knows that people have been, spoofing phone numbers. Case in point, during our Millennial Boom podcast the other day, right in the middle of our podcast, I get a call from the DA's office, San Francisco. I know it's a scam because they've done it before. They seem to call every single time we do a podcast. Between the hour we do the podcast, they used to call and try to, prank us. And so then we turned on Do Not Disturb, and they found out that we have Do Not Disturb on. So they turned instead of a call twice in a row. One day we held out on the podcast for an extra half an hour, and sure enough, they called, and we watched them, and they called twice, right back to back. So that's to defeat the Do Not Disturb feature. Just telling you to be aware, be cautious. If in doubt, do without. I'll say it again. If in doubt, do without. Now, you can't, the police aren't going to be able to respond to everybody's calls. So you want to make it easier? Don't fall for the okie doke. Don't fall for getting scammed by people. That's just what it is. And they're out there, and they target people who think, everybody wants money.